Hi friends, now we will discuss the India's policy response in order to make the India so resilient in external trade. We have discussed the different parameters from both trade account to invisible account to capital account to current account to BOP to everything. Now what we will do is, we will try to understand the policy response that has led to this resilience, and survey has discussed some of the policies. Now we will focus on those issues because these policies are important. You may write or you may get a question as a part of mains, and you will use this information for writing the answer in the mains. First one is for the increase of agricultural exports. Increase of agricultural exports, what was the response of the government of India? Because agricultural exports has increased even during the pandemic time, and what is the reason to that? See, one is obviously the demand is the one reason, so no one can deny that. But apart from that, is there any other mechanisms? See, the agricultural export policy that India has been maintaining and the changes brought to that agricultural export policy is also one of the reason. And one among them is Export Inspection Council. So second one is exports in that Export Inspection Council. So this Export Inspection Council has strengthened to increase our exports. It's an administrative, that means it's a process reform. Next one is, you all know this organization called APEDA under Ministry of Commerce. APEDA means the Agriculture and Processed Food Product Exports Development Authority. Agriculture and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority. This APEDA has strengthened, and this APEDA has started working effectively in order to export both the agriculture and as well as the processed agricultural food products to the external market. So this is one of the initiatives strengthening APEDA. Next, the another one is online issuance of certificates. So now whatever the certificates that we need for the export, we are issuing it in online. You no need to wait, and your time will be saved with this, and this is also one of the process simplification that we have done. Next, another important scheme is, actually it was already there, but it got a revision on 1/4/2021, that means 2021 April 1st, the rates were revised for this. This scheme is transport and marketing assistance for specified agricultural product. Transport and marketing assistance for specified agricultural product scheme. So under this, what they will do is, for a specific agricultural product, they will provide the transport and marketing assistance. That means the traveling charges they will try to pay for specific agricultural product. And from April 1st, 2021 onwards, they have revised the rates. That means the assistance which they are providing as a transport and marketing fee, that was revised, and that is increased. That is also led to the more and more exports. That means if you are an exporter of a specific product, if it comes under this scheme, then you will be given some amount of money in order to meet your transportation and market charges. So that is also one among the measures taken by. Next one is the Krishi Udan. So whenever, Krishi Udan, you know what is Udan, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagarik. This is by Ministry of Civil Aviation. This is providing the air service to the some of the agricultural products to both at the national and the international level. National and international level. And even we have started a scheme called Krishi Rail. Krishi Rail, that means a specific rails to this agriculture, but this is Krishi Rail only confined ourselves to the domestic market, but whereas Krishi Udan or this product or online issuance, APEDA and Export Inspection Council, these are all meant for the exporting the agriculture and food processed commodities to the external market. So whenever you are getting a question on the export of agricultural commodities, just try to mention some of these measures. Okay. So this is on agriculture front. Next, see, in order to increase the trade with the any of the country, definitely we have to sign some sort of trade agreements. Without trade agreements, it is very difficult for us to improve the trade. If we really improve the trade, then we can understand whether we are maintaining a positive or negative, that's a different story. But if at all you want to improve a trade with the other countries, the trade agreements are very, very important. And we are started pursuing different trade agreements. See, this trade agreements has its own history. See, under WTO agreement, everyone must be treated equally. But for the regional grouping, WTO has given an exception. But as far as the present government is concerned, this present government has not shown much interest towards the signing these agreements in the initial years. That means from 2014 to 19, they haven't shown much interest in signing these agreements. So whatever the existing, whatever the agreements, the bilateral investment treaties, what we earlier have, they have cancelled all the treaties because of some irregularities in that agreement. But no way this government has shown any interest. But now recently this government has started shown more interest in signing different agreements with the different countries. Though we haven't signed the RCEP agreement because it is not advantageous to us, but we are still interested in signing different agreements with the different groupings and different individual countries where we will have some benefit. And I think why we haven't signed RCEP, you are all aware, it's not advantage to the Indian, especially Indian farmers. But there are various different type of agreements. But anyway, I will give some chronology so that you can understand. Partial trade agreement, we will have PTA, partial trade agreement, and FTA is much more wider than PTA. That means free trade agreement is much more wider than partial trade agreement. Comprehensive economic cooperation agreement is much more wider than free trade agreement. There is an agreement called comprehensive economic partnership agreement. This includes both services and investment, CEPA. This includes both services and investment. CEPA is much more wider than the CECA. And after that, the customs union is much more wider than your CEPA and whatever the European Union that is having. And after that, the common market, much more wider. In common market means there the production policies also decided commonly, whereas in case of customs union the production policies cannot be decided commonly, only trade policies are decided. But whereas in common market it is the production policies also decided. And after that you will have economic market, that is everywhere, everyone, that means the entire world will become one unit. But anyhow, we don't go to such a level, but PTA, FTA, CECA, CEPA, customs union and common market. Just have an idea of this chronology. Now so India has initiated its trade agreements, negotiations and reviewed existing agreement with many countries. This inter alia includes the negotiations. So why these negotiations are important? These negotiations are important because this will actually improve India on trade front. That is the reason why they are important. That is the reason why they are important. See, comprehensive economic cooperation agreement between India and Australia, the negotiations are started. We are going to finalize it. FTA with European Union, yes, this was a long pending demand. Recently we have started revising these agreements because they are bringing some non-trade related aspects into the discussion, but anyhow it has successfully started. And comprehensive economic partnership agreement, CEPA, with Canada and with Canada. So with Canada we wanted to again improve our relations to a larger extent, and even the SEPA with UAE. So comprehensive economic partnership agreement with UAE. So with UAE, with Canada, with European Union, with Australia. And apart from that, in addition, India is reviewing its existing trade agreements such as the CECA with Singapore and ASEAN. So again we wanted to do with Singapore and ASEAN. Already we have some agreement, but we wanted to widen it. And after RCEP, we wanted to move so close to the ASEAN, and we wanted to make more and more agreements with the ASEAN, because ASEAN has already signed an agreement with the China and other countries, but we don't want to join in that. So again we are trying with Singapore and ASEAN in trade goods agreement. So this CACA with Singapore and ASEAN India trade in goods agreement, AITIGA, with ASEAN countries. Okay, and negotiations are completed for agreement with UAE at an advanced stage with Australia. So negotiations are completed with the UAE, and with the Australia we are in advanced stage. And also we wanted to sign an agreement with UK also. So UK also, because United Kingdom is also very important. Recently it has came out of this Brexit. And now they want to reorient in a different way with the world. So on 13th January 2012 we have started the discussion. It is only FTA, because we haven't reached to the level of, once we complete FTA then we can enhance it to the comprehensive level, but FTA. And whereas when it comes to the United States of America, we don't have any agreement with the United States of America, but we have tried to sign the agreement of FTA, but I think in the discussion the United States of America not so interested in signing that agreement with India now. Okay, so this is something, a progress that we have made on the front of signing the bilateral trade agreements with the foreign countries. So with UAE it is completed, Australia in advanced stage, with Singapore we wanted to more cooperate, again with Canada, again with UK, okay, and ASEAN group. So these are some of the important areas. Okay, next. Another important aspect is the major schemes and initiative to boost the exports. So survey has mentioned about some of the measures, and these measures are important for us, and quote these measures appropriately whenever it is necessary. So first one is this RODTEP, RODTEP scheme. That means remission of duties and taxes on exported product. So under this RODTEP, this was started from Jan 1st 2021. Jan 1st 2021 this scheme has started. Okay, so this scheme was an improvement from the then existing scheme called Merchandise Exports from India, MEIS, Merchandise Exports from India. And there was another scheme called Services Exports from the services exports from India, maize and seize. Actually this maize and seize was started in the year 2016. Okay, just I am giving history, but it's not necessary now. But anyhow, it was an improvement on maize. So it was an improvement on maize. So what is this scheme? Remission of duties and taxes on exported products. Under the WTO agreement, there was a rule. Rule is that you have to export the product, but you should not export the duties and taxes. Duties and taxes should not be exported, because you are collecting these duties and taxes for your own purposes. You should not export. This cannot give a this cannot give a level playing field for all the countries. So you should not export taxes as well as the duties. And that is the reason why we have brought a new scheme called RODTEP, road tape. It is in compliance with the World Trade Organization principle. What we are going to do is, whatever the duties and taxes that are collected at the union, state and local level, we will remit. That means we will give it back, the taxes collected at the both union, state and as well as the local level to the exporters. So it will be in compliance with the WTO, as well as we are becoming so competitive in the world market, because our products will become cheaper. But government of India has to subsidize this. Okay. So now the major taxes, anyway GST is not there in exports, but the major taxes, the major benefit what you are going to is, the electricity duty is one. Second one is VAT on fuel which is used for the transportation. And first one is electricity duty, third one is stamp duty, and fourth one is mandi tax, or any local governments will impose tax on that. So mandi tax, stamp duty, VAT on this fuel and electricity duty. These are the four major things that you are going to remit under this, and this has provided some sort of advantage, and that is why our exports are increasing. So it is not that just the demand has revived, but also because of these type of schemes. Now the second important is developing district as an export hub. That means you have to identify each and every district, and you have to make every district as a hub of export. And for this, the District Export Promotion Committee, DEPC is constituted. And what we will do under this is, the products with export potential from a district, either it can be an agricultural product, or it can be any specific geographically have GI tag product, or any of the specific manufacturing product, anything. We will identify a specific product to a district, and we will develop the mechanism in that district itself, so that the district will become a hub of exports. So this scheme is, and we have identified such a products in all 739 districts. What are the products that we need promoted from a particular district? So this will help us, that means this scheme will help us to diversify the portfolio of export commodities. So this scheme is help us to bring some sort of diversity in the exported commodities or exported items. So that is developing district as an export hub. Next, third one is production linked incentive. So we are all aware production linked incentive scheme was announced in 2021 with 1.97 lakh crore. And this intention of this scheme is to produce more. For every incremental production, you will get some sort of extra benefit from the government. If you are a producer, you have produced 10 items this year. If you make it 15 or if you make it 13, you will get some incentive. So that the production process increases in this country, that increased production will automatically increase to the export, because as the export promotion schemes are already under pipeline. So this is PLI scheme. PLI is for both production and as well as the exports. Next, electronic platform for preferential certificate of origin. So the certificate of origin is very, very important for the export, because you have to show like whether it is an Indian originated product, or you have it has completely imported from somewhere, and you are just making some little value addition to that and you are exporting. That is very, very important, because most of the time what we are doing is we are importing lot of items from the foreign countries, and we are doing some value addition and we are exporting. And it is not only that, from Bangladesh, suppose if you take Bangladesh, so we are importing from Bangladesh, but Bangladesh is importing that item from China. That means indirectly we are importing from the China. So that should not happen. So the country of origin is very, very important for every product. So such certification electronic platform is there. So an electronic platform for preferential certificate of origin. So this origin certificate dealings now will be happened through electronic platform, so that the process will get simplified and there is no much delay in the export process. There is no much delay in export process. Next, infusion of capital in Exim Bank. Infusion of capital in Exim Bank. So Exim Bank is a bank which will provide some sort of credit facility to the exporters, because exporters need some amount of money, because immediately they will export, immediately after the export they don't get money, it will take some time. That is the reason why that bank will always need a money, and Government of India infused around 750 crore into this. So this will also promote for the exports. This is also promote for the more exports. Next one is Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India Limited. Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India Limited. See, this ECGC provides an insurance cover. This ECGC will provide an insurance cover to the banks against the risk in export credit lending. That means normally the banks who will provide this lending support to the exporters, exports always involved with some sort of risk. So if they provided a loan, and because of that loan, if the bank gets any problem, and that will be compensated with this institute. So this ECGC provides an insurance cover to the banks against the risk in export credit lending to the export borrowers. So whoever is taking from the bank, and it is providing the insurance cover to that bank. So now what we are doing? So the ECGC has given a capital, has going to get the capital infusion, and that capital infusion is going to be around 4,400 crore. 4,400 crore in the next 5 years. That is the capital infusion that they are going to get. Next one is Export Promotion Capital Goods Scheme, EPCG scheme, and you are all aware this EPCG scheme. That means if you want to import any capital good item, and in that capital good item, if that capital good item is used for the production of products, that products will be exported. That means if your imported capital item is used for the exported manufactured products in India, then you will get some tax benefit or customs benefit on that. Now what we have done is the export obligation has reduced from 90% to 75%. That export obligation has reduced from 90% to 75%. That means even if you export 75% of the items which you have made on that capital good, you can get that whatever the benefit under this export promotion capital good scheme. So for that capital good you will get some sort of tax exemption. So this is already an ongoing scheme under the foreign trade policy, but some changes were made. And the next one is this TICE, Trade Infrastructure for Export Scheme, TICE, and Market Access Initiative, Special Economic Zone Scheme, Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme, and Advance Authorization. These are some of the schemes. But just I want to mention on this TICE. See, this TICE is a very important scheme. TICE is very important scheme. So trade infrastructure for export. So what is this trade infra? This was actually started in 2017. This TICE was started in 2017 we have started this TICE. So what we are going to do with this TICE? We are going to create an infrastructure, a trade related infrastructure for the export purpose. So if you want to export, that means it's not for the individual level, either it is for the sector or a particular product. So for any particular product or for any particular sector, a export infrastructure is necessary. So what is the export infrastructure? The export infrastructure may include certification, it may include quality testing, it may include cold chain management, or it may include dry ports. Dry port in the sense, normally if you are, suppose this is a port, this is a port, and you have to export it from the port. But suppose you are a hinterland area and you are here, there is no port for you. So here we will create a dry port. So dry port means what we will do is all the customs related clearance, quality related clearance, procedural clearances will be done in the dry port itself. Now once this procedure is completed here, now you will bring it here. Once you bring it here, immediately you have to send it to the respective location. See, if you make dry port in the same locality, then it may not be a big problem for the traders. But you are in a particular state and you went to another state, and if you are waiting here for getting the clearance, means it create lot of problem and it create lot of loss to the exporter. So that is the reason why this dry ports, creation of dry ports, and also the trade promotion, warehousing, packaging, like these are all the different type of infrastructure that is necessary for any particular sector or product. Now under this tie scheme, they are going to provide some sort of financial assistance to create this trade related infrastructure for export promotion. So that is tie scheme. So just please try to remember the schemes that are mentioned under this economic survey, and you can use these schemes for any of the purposes while you are writing the answer, and you may get some questions in prelims also on the agricultural front and also on the export front by the Commerce Ministry, and also the different trade agreements that we are going to sign or we are in with the negotiation. These were mentioned in the economic survey, and these measures are actually these type of measures are actually helping us to improve our trade related aspects, and so that we are becoming resilient as far as the external trade is concerned. Now we can sustain any pressure that we are going to get in the upcoming days in the world market in terms of taking away the quantitative easing. Okay. So this is something about the measures mentioned or the policy response that is to make India's external trade so resilient. Okay. Thank you.
Amrita IAS Academy.